Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new, hi, my name is Sonia and I am a 12-year-old author.
1, 2, 3, funk it.
My darling, I love you, 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 I love you.
As you've probably seen, I have recently started a book club. So, welcome to book club episode number 2. That's 4, 2. Today, we're gonna read, drumroll please, Winnie in Space. So, I'll talk more about this later, but it would really mean a lot if you would subscribe to this channel and like this video. We meet again, and here I am at the New Early Years Center. So, Winnie the Witch has been a series that has sold over 5 million copies in the world, and it's a very fun and childish series. Winnie is a witch, and Wilbur over here on the cover, we can see him very, very scared that he's in space. Winnie's having a blast with a bagel. Getting on with the story, Winnie in Space is written and illustrated by Valerie and Korky. So, flipping the book, we can see the blurb. So, Winnie in Space. 3, 2, 1. Whoosh! Winnie and Wilbur zoom into space. Dodging satellites and flying saucers, Winnie soon finds a lovely little planet for their picnic. But when some rather odd creatures decide to join them, Winnie needs a wand full of magic to save the day. That's the blurb. It's a really interesting blurb since now it keeps me in suspense to see what those little creatures are. So let's read the story. Winnie in Space. Winnie the Witch loved to look through her telescope at the night sky. It was huge and dark and mysterious. "I'd love to go into space, Wilbur," Winnie would say. "It would be such a big adventure." Wilbur, Winnie's big black cat, loved to be outside at night too. He liked to chase moths and bats and shadows. That was enough adventure for Wilbur. Then, one night, when the moon and stars were bright, Winnie suddenly said, "Let's go into space right now, Wilbur." "Yeah," said Wilbur. "But how are we going to get there?" wondered Winnie. "We need a rocket, and I don't have a rocket." Then she looked up at the moon, and she had a wonderful idea. She waved her magic wand, shouted, "Abracadabra!" And there, on the roof, was a rocket. Winnie packed a picnic basket, got her big book of spells, just in case, and ran up the stairs with Wilbur. Winnie shut her eyes, waved her magic wand, and shouted, "Abracadabra!" 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The rocket shot off the roof and into space. It went very, very fast, and it was hard to steer. Oops, Winnie nearly flew into a satellite. Oops, was that a flying saucer? Oops, that was a falling star, Wilbur. Whoosh! "Meow!" said Wilbur. He put his paws over his eyes. We'll find a lovely planet for our picnic, Wilbur," Winnie said. Wilbur peeped out from behind his paws. There were little planets everywhere. Here's a sweet little planet, Winnie said. We'll have our picnic here, said Wilbur. He loved picnics. Plop! The rocket landed. All was quiet and peaceful. But there were funny little holes everywhere. Wilbur looked down the holes. They seemed to be empty. Winnie unpacked the food. There were pumpkin scones, chocolate muffins, some cherries, and cream for Wilbur. Do you like chocolate? Yum! A little head popped out of the hole, and there were heads everywhere. Rabbits, said Winnie. Space rabbits are coming to our picnic. Meow, said Wilbur. A space rabbit hopped over to try some cream. Yuck! Another space rabbit tried a pumpkin scone. Horrible! Chocolate muffins? Disgusting! Cherries? Yuck! Then, some of the space rabbits hopped over to the rocket. They sniffed it and took a bite. Then the rocket was covered in space rabbits. Oh no! Shouted Winnie. She waved her magic wand, shouted, Abracadabra! And carrots and lettuces rained down on the rabbits. But the space rabbits didn't like carrots or lettuces. Of course, said Winnie. She waved her magic wand, shouted, Abracadabra! And there was a giant pile of metal. Saucepans, wheelbarrows, bicycles, cars, even a fire engine. Yes, that was what space rabbits liked. Scrumptious! But it was too late. The space rabbits had eaten up all of Winnie's metal rocket. Blithering broomsticks! Shouted Winnie. Now how will I get home? Meow! Said Wilbur. Winnie looked at the giant pile of metal. Perhaps, she said. Maybe. I wonder. She looked in her big book of spells. Yes, she said. Then she picked up her magic wand, waved it 5 times, and shouted, Abracadabra! There was a flash of fire, a bang, and there, on top of the giant pile of metal, was a rattling, roaring scrap metal rocket. Vroom! The rocket blasted away. It rushed and roared through space. Whoomp! The rocket landed in Winnie's garden. That was an adventure, Wilbur, Winnie said. But I'm glad we're home, said Wilbur. He was very glad to be home. The end. That was Winnie in space. But just when you thought it ended, the last page helped me a lot to pass my science test. And here's what. The last page contains a poem of all the planets in order. So if you're struggling with naming the planets or you forget the order of the planets, Winnie in space will definitely help. Since the poem goes like this. You probably know the names of the 9 planets in the solar system. But can you remember the order of the planets from the nearest to the furthest of the sun. Winnie can help. Use your simple mnemonic and you will never forget. My very easy magic just simply uses 9 planets. My for Mercury, very for Venus, easy for Earth, magic for Mars, just for Jupiter, simply for Saturn, uses for Uranus, 9 for Neptune, and planets for Pluto, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of my book club. I want to talk a bit about the fact that I have recently had an interview and the Forbes Kids October's issue. Here I have 3 pages which you can read a bit more about me. There are a lot of questions, and if you want to find out a bit more about me, you can always take this magazine and read the article. Thank you so much, Forbes Kids, for adding me to your October issue. I want to talk a bit about being featured in the latest in TIV, which is the International Voice. I have a few other articles in this magazine as well, and some include very delicious pancakes at Maison des Crêpes. So if that prickled your ears, make sure to check this out. I know it's a bit cloudy, the sun's not got out, but it's Saturday morning and you've got a long day ahead. So stay productive and stay creative. Winnie in Space sure has